The RSI Orion is an upcoming capital ship in Star Citizen, purporting to offer the pinnacle of endgame mining gameplay. Naturally, the concept has got many players excited, not least because mining is already one of the more interesting and involved gameplay loops on offer to more peaceful or industrial players. I'm Forrester, and welcome to the Drydock, a series which delves deeper into the ships of Star Citizen. This video will explore the background behind the Orion both in and out of game, then take a look at some of the attributes and statistics of the ship before considering how that might all translate into gameplay. There are timestamps in the video description, although if you're interested in the Orion you might prefer to watch this one all the way through. And whilst this channel usually focuses on what's currently in-game, necessarily this video will navigate the treacherous space that is speculation territory. Whilst every effort has been made to approach this video accurately, sometimes information is sparse and much is subject to change as time goes along, so please treat the content with a pinch of salt and not as a definitive promise as to what will happen. Following your feedback on previous videos, as a bit of an experiment, there's some mining gameplay footage on show throughout this video. Obviously that's from ships currently in game and may not be representative of mining gameplay on offer on the Orion. All of that said, let's dive into the background of the Orion. The RSI Orion was first announced in February 2015 as part of a wider announcement about mining in Star Citizen. The launch included a design document talking about plans for mining, as well as a store page with information about the Orion concept. In November 2017, as part of the Around the Verse anniversary special, there was a ship shape segment dedicated to the Orion, which included some footage of the white box phase of development. In this update, it was noted that the size of the Orion had approximately doubled from the original concept launch. Somewhat surprisingly, for a ship that has been in concept for nearly 9 years, there's not a lot of in-game lore available that discusses the Orion. On announcement in 2015, the Orion was offered for sale for $325. Subsequently, over the years, that has steadily increased to the most recent price increase this year, which brings that up to $650, twice the original concept price. The stated purpose for the Orion is as a heavy mining ship. Whereas other mining ships maneuver themselves around the target rock or use a turret to get great angles for cracking away, the talk about the Orion is that it would be too awkward to do any of that, so it's easier just to mount a massive tractor beam and move the rock to be in front of the Orion for devouring. That serves to underline the point that this is a huge industrial powerhouse of a mining ship on a scale that doesn't really exist in-game at the moment. Add to that the Orion is also supposedly a self-contained platform incorporating a refinery and all storage into the core design, so it's designed to be your everything mining, end to end, all in one ship. Since the original specifications for the Orion were published, it was mentioned that the ship was scaled up to be about twice as big as those original dimensions. Accordingly, that would suggest that the Orion would be somewhere in the region of 340 meters long, with a width or beam of around 100 meters and a height or depth of 100 meters. For an in-game comparison, that's kind of Idris sized. The total published mass of the Orion is linked to the previous size, so is left as to be confirmed here. By way of components, the only listings available are from the original concept many years ago, so some of the below may well be out of date. However, the listings suggest a large radar and a medium-sized computer. Power would be provided by 2 capital-sized power plants, with cooling provided by 4 large coolers. Defensively, the Orion would carry 3 large shield generators. The specifications also list 2 large fuel intakes, 2 large hydrogen fuel tanks, and a capital-sized quantum fuel tank. Both the quantum drive and jump drive are listed as large-sized. To propel this massive beast, the specifications list 4 main thrusters, 2 retro thrusters, and 20 fixed maneuvering thrusters located around the ship to help it turn and translate. By way of armament, the specifications for the Orion list a single remote turret on the nose of the ship, potentially up to size 5, with 2 weapons attached. Clearly, this is not a combat ship. The crew specifications for the Orion note a minimum crew of 4 to a maximum crew of 7. Realistically, for player mining operations, it might be more reasonable to expect 2 to 4 people based on the information currently available on the Orion, accepting that may change in the future. Those roles could be a pilot/tractor beam operator who moves the ship into position and then moves rocks in front of the mining area. That might be 1 or 2 people depending on how big each task is. Then somebody doing the actual mining aboard, which, given the front to back nature of mining, is also probably just 1 person. Potentially there may be some gameplay attached to refining the ore as it makes its way further back, which could be another person, and there could potentially be some crew gameplay attached to the drones that the Orion carries, but it's probably something that will become clearer as more information about the Orion is known. The primary function of the Orion is to chomp up space rocks, and so the main feature is the cutting equipment for that. The front of the ship is equipped with 2 main cutting laser beams, and then a whole host of cutting and grinding gear looking stuff. Whether that becomes anything other than decorative as it currently is on the Reclaimer remains to be seen. There's also a precision cutting laser on an articulating arm. Additionally, the Orion is equipped with some tractor beams, 2 up front, and potentially 1 on the remote turret that houses the weapons. The ship information talks about having a scanner array under the nose to help in locating perspective rocks to hoover up, as well as the 12 spindles for storing ore processing / refining and cargo containers. The specifications list 384 SCU of cargo capacity, but given the size of the ship and taking an influence from the Hull C, which operates external cargo spindles, once this is updated it might not be a surprise if this figure was considerably higher. The Orion also lists 4 drone docks amidships, with drones supposedly augmenting the native ability of the Orion to harvest minerals. Out with that, it's reasonable to expect that the Orion will have the usual crew facilities aboard, like beds to sleep in and such like. The core gameplay element for the Orion is mining, and that's what the ship is built around. Quite literally, the ship concept is for a front-to-back production line for the mining gameplay loop, starting with the tractoring of rocks to the front of the ship, then breaking them apart, sending them further back for refinery operations, before storing them on the cargo spindles surrounding the rear of the ship. The Orion sounds like it's built around multi-crew cooperation, perhaps similar to how the Reclaimer offers that for salvage operations. It sounds a little simplistic to have a single bullet point for this whole ship, but across the different roles involved in locating a rock, moving it, breaking it, processing it, and storing it, there are probably a few different gameplay elements that are all self-contained within the one ship. So for the mining enthusiast, the Orion might, just might, offer it all. Interestingly, looking at the Orion would suggest that the ship is not really capable of landing planetside, and certainly it looks like it would struggle to mine anywhere other than in the zero-gravity environment of space. If that's true, there may also be some gameplay in moving mined goods around after that gameplay loop is over, if selling to a space station wasn't the preferred outcome. Given that the obvious gameplay for the Orion is that end-to-end mining loop, it makes sense that this capital-sized mining ship would be the flagship for a major mining operation. When writing notes for this video, there's a line in those notes which just says, "Defend it," which is underlined and circled. Defend it means there's an argument which would suggest there's escort role requirements created simply by deploying this ship. Hear me out. The Orion specifications list 1 turret, one turret with relatively small weapons for a ship of this size. Given the extremely valuable payloads that the Orion is likely to be involved with, that makes this a very vulnerable target, and so a key part of the role of this ship may be to be that high value asset that needs to be protected by other ships. Regardless, the concept of the Orion as the complete, end-to-end, one-stop shop for everything to do with the mining gameplay loop, all in a nice multi-crew bundle, is naturally something that is going to excite a lot of players when it eventually hits the verse. But at the risk of going on for too long, that'll pretty much wrap it up for the Orion here, and so it's over to you to share your thoughts in the video comments. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, you might like to do that too, so that you can get the heads up for new videos on the channel, as well as munching your way through the like button with two great big mining lasers if you like heavily narrated slideshows talking about fictional spaceships. Otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.